Okay. Hey guys, my name is Joyce Wong, and welcome to Educators for Impact's fourth event. Thank you guys for coming out and supporting us or for watching our videos. I am the current CCO of Educators for Impact. And today we are very fortunate to have Kristin Zhao, a political science major at UCLA, who is also currently in pre-law, join us. She's going to be speaking about her experiences, qualifications, goals in high school and college, and anything else you guys might be curious about regarding college life. During our Q&A, you guys are welcome to submit questions at the bottom bar. And so first, for introducing our program, we are Educators for Impact, and basically we're a platform created to bring together different people and to have everyone share their thoughts about all things education related. We believe passionately in the power of education to influence students, parents, and future educators. You can find more information about us at educatorsforimpact.org, our website, and besides myself, I have 4 other team members, Angelina, Vanessa, Chris, and Elaine, who is here right now, and they work so hard to make this event possible. And so next to our guest speaker, Kristin, do you want to introduce yourself?
Yeah, sure. My name is Kristin, and I'm a first year, it's on the slide, but I'm a first year student at UCLA. Currently, I haven't declared my major yet, but I'm pre-political science and also pre-law, because I'm planning on going to law school afterwards, and I'm from the Bay Area.
Perfect. And we're going to start with our Q&A, and if anyone has any questions, feel free to put them in, and we will say them throughout the period. And so, Kristin, first thing first, what allowed you to explore your interest and passion for political science and pre-law in high school? What did you do?
Um, yeah, well, I would say compared to a lot of my other political science peers at college, I actually didn't really do much in high school that had to do with pre-law. Because there's things like, like Model UN and mock trial, which looking back, I feel like I wish I had joined those things, and I think those are really good organizations to try out if you're interested in pre-law. But for me, I was kind of like unsure about what I wanted to do throughout high school, but all I knew is that I enjoyed my humanities classes the most, especially Gov and literature. And so it kind of tied into like the major itself and like the career path of law that I wanted to go down to.
Okay, and with like all the extracurriculars you did and maybe you still do, how did you manage your time, and what are some ways that you would advise us to do that?
In high school, it was really difficult because I think I tried to do too many things. I think in general in high school, you have to choose between like the things that you think you're supposed to do and then also the things that you actually want to do. But I didn't really choose. So I just did everything in as much as I could. And I think that was actually really detrimental for my health, especially just like not getting sleep. So don't do that. I think my advice for how I'm managing my time now, which I think is much better than how I did in high school, is just choosing a couple of things, a mixture of things that like you think are good for your career and your overall long-term goals, and then a couple things that are just like for fun, like your hobbies that can fulfill you, and then just stick to maybe 3 or 4 of those things. And then but in high school, I will admit that I wasn't the best at managing my time, but now it's getting better.
That's good to know, because everyone, is wondering that. And it's good to know that there's some people that are willing to admit that it's really hard to manage everything.
Yeah.
Yeah. And speaking of that, what was your transition from high school to college like?
Like in general?
Yeah, so like was it difficult or easy to like adapt to university culture?
I think it's definitely a big step just because there's a lot of things that you have to take into account, like for your own life. I know that I don't know what the demographic of this like um panel is going to be for, but I know that like a lot of us growing up, like our parents help us with a lot of things, but in college it's just everything you do on your own. So that can become a little bit troublesome, especially if your only responsibility as a student in high school or middle school was to do your work and to do your like extracurriculars. In college, you have to make time for other things like I don't know, like exercise, eating, sleep, and spending time with your friends. All of those things you have to like arrange on your own. That was kind of difficult, but I think yeah, I got the hang of it pretty quickly, thank goodness. And in general, I would say I kind of enjoy the social university culture much more than like the social scene that I had back in high school, because I think in high school in the Bay Area, it can get pretty competitive since everyone's like aiming for generally the same things and everyone's comparing their resumes to each other. But in at least at UCLA, what I really like about this school is that there's so many different people working on so many different things. Like there are people who are already working in the industry, like for example, like the like art, media, dance, music. They're already working in the industry, so they're not focusing so much on their academics. There are also people focusing on their academics, and there are people who are more focused in clubs and organizations, and everyone has different goals, and so there's not so much comparing. And whenever you share what you're doing, everyone's pretty like open to it, and they're not like yeah, like it's not as toxically competitive as I think some of our high school experiences were. So that part of it I really enjoy.
Yeah. And how was making new friends in the beginning of freshman year? And how did you find the friends that you talk to right now?
Um, yeah, I think making friends is such a there's such a diverse range of experiences for me personally. Um, I think I had a couple of separate good friends, and so like I still don't have like a friend group. I just have separate friends that I enjoy spending time with individually. And so for someone like me who doesn't have a friend group, you kind of do have to like make sure that you make time in your schedule to see them and like schedule them. Like it's kind of like counterintuitive to like in high school where you see everyone all the time anyway, so you don't really have to schedule anything. But in college, if you really want to maintain a friendship, especially if you don't live together and you don't have a class together, um which both like fluctuate, right? So like if you want to maintain a friendship, you have to put in effort to like go see them, since in college everyone's schedule is so different. um yeah, so for me, like I made a couple of good friends. Some of them were from home that I got close to ever since coming to college with them, and then some of them I met through like a class or a club or an organization, and I just keep in contact with them. And I meet with most of them like weekly. Like we have a weekly, oh, I have lunch 2 times a week with this person, and then I have lunch 1 time a week with this person. So yeah, it's been going pretty good for me, I feel like.
Okay. And so why did you choose UCLA? And if you got any other college decisions, I'm sure you have. What were the main factors that influenced you going into UCLA instead of any other college?
Um, well, yeah, okay. What made me choose UCLA? Um, this is coming from someone who wasn't completely sure about like their career, or like I wasn't specifically looking for like a program or like an opportunity in my college. I was just kind of looking for like a well-rounded option for me to try things out. So my decision-making process may look really different from someone who is really sure about what they want to do and like really sure about a specific program. So just keep that in mind. For me, what made me choose UCLA was like the price and like the location and like the overall environment, the food. Yeah, because I feel like considering the price, it like is literally like 1 year of tuition for like a private school that I got into would be like 2.5 years of tuition for at UCLA. And I feel like the just the cost benefit analysis of that is just like a degree from UCLA would still mean a lot, you know? And then so that was most of my decision making process, if I'm being completely honest. But yeah, this is definitely like I know for other people those like aspects won't be as important, depending on your like financial situation and depending on like your actual like career goals. But for me, this was the best choice.
Yeah. By the way, do you do debate?
No, I do not.
Okay, sorry. I just heard you say cost benefit analysis.
Oh. Oh.
Okay, and what are some of the greatest challenges you faced during this whole year?
Greatest challenges. I think again, depending on where people are from, for me, since I'm from the Bay Area, it's a very academically challenging and competitive place to be in. So coming to college, especially like a college that isn't known for specifically that, I think academically I've been having a much better time than a lot of my peers, just because I'm so like we're so weathered in that sense. Um, I think my biggest challenges were actually starting like fresh in a new environment. Like in high school, I think I got really, really comfortable with the people around me since like a lot of us, like a lot of my class at least, we grew up in the same elementary, middle, and high school. So by high school, like by the end of high school, I pretty much like everyone's face was familiar to me in my class at least. So I would walk through, you know, school and then be able to like just feel like very much at home. In college, it's like, first of all, no one knows who I am. And then second of all, every day, like literally even up like maybe up until your senior year, you're going to walk through school and see people that you really just have never seen before. And that's just the kind of environment that was kind of hard for me to get used to. Yeah, especially just because also in high school, my personality and my reputation was pretty well known at that point. And so all I had to do was like be the person that people thought I was. But in college, you kind of just have to rediscover and reinvent yourself and be yourself, as cliche as that is. But it's like definitely a lot of like the feeling of being stripped clean and then having to start over. And that can be pretty daunting, but also pretty exciting for some people. For me, it was mostly daunting, but I'm sure a lot of you guys will enjoy that process.
Yeah. And talking about college and stuff like that, you guys get your own dormitories at college. How is that?
I actually really enjoyed that because I think growing up, I've always been very into like decorating and like rearranging and like organizing my own space, but like my home, like my childhood home room layout has always been decided by, you know, my parents. And then like some of the like, you know, the color of the walls and like the main decor items are also decided by them. But coming to college, it's like I get to, you know, do things my own way. I get to um like have a lot of control and ownership over my own space, which that is very like I'm really grateful for that. And also I'm really grateful for my specific room because it's not a communal bathroom. I actually just share, like I'm in a room with two other girls. So we have a triple and we share a bathroom with another triple. So it connects us. And it's like we have our own sink, our own toilet, and our own shower. And that also, yeah, I'm grateful for that. So I know it's probably not going to be all of your college experiences, but for me, I just really like having my own space. And yeah, that is something I really enjoy about being in college.
Yeah. And what does your day-to-day life look like? And like on weekdays, weekends, and how's your balance currently between academics and social life?
Um, my week, my day-to-day life, on a weekday, I would say I actually like not to toot my own horn, but I feel like I do like balance my um work and social life pretty well. Keep in mind that my major and my lower division classes right now are not as gruesome as some of the like biochem slash computer science slash engineering majors. For me, it gets harder in the upper divs. For them, it gets easier in the upper divs. So it's kind of like a give and take. So for me right now, I'm not so much struggling in that. So I go to class and then like in the morning I would go to class and then at lunch I might have lunch with one of my friends and spend time with them. And then I'll study for a bit and then go to my other class and then I'll have dinner with another friend and then I'll come back to my room and study. So I am not so much so as like stressed in general. Like I think I at least meet with like have like a social interaction like once a day during the week. And I fit it in between my classes, which like I guess usually people would need that time for other things as well. But for me right now, like I have time for that. So yeah.
And it's commonly known that UCLA requires a lot of walking to get around the campus. And is this an issue in your opinion?
Oh, good question. It is quite specific to UCLA. Not that like I think a lot of college campuses are very large, but UCLA in specific um is really hilly. So in order to get places, you have to go up and down a lot of stairs, a lot of like, inclines. And yeah, when I first came here, like every time I would get to class, I'd be like drenched in sweat and like out of breath. But it takes like it only took I think like a week or two, depending on your current athletic ability. For me, I wasn't really good at cardio. So it took me like I think even for me, who I think is not that is pretty athletically challenged, it only took me like a week or two to get used to. And then after that, it actually works out pretty well, especially since UCLA not only is known for the hills, but is known for the wonderful food. So it really just balances out. Like you exercise a lot every day and then you eat a lot every day and it's good food. So I think it actually is better for a lot of our healths to like walk so much and then eat good food. And yeah, so honestly, I'm grateful for the hilliness, or else, you've all heard of freshman 15. Like for us, it's pretty serious.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Speaking of the food, what specifics do you see in UCLA? What's your favorites? And how about like I don't know what you call them, but like the food places, halls.
Yeah, don't worry. Dining halls.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Like we at UCLA, there's so many options. Like um for colleges, most colleges that I've seen, like you have your own like swipes, as in like you have your card, and then each year or each quarter or semester, they'll give you a certain amount of swipes that you can use in the dining halls. But for most other colleges, if you want to buy things from like a takeout place or like um yeah, like just from other places, you have to actually just use your own money. But at UCLA, like you can do so much with your swipes. Like you can not only enter the dining halls, which we have three of, and each of them are specific to like the kind of food that you want to eat. We have like a plethora of like of takeout places. And then also on campus, there are actual like there's Panda Express, there's Taco Bell and stuff like that. And all of those places you're able to use your swipes on. Because you can exchange, there's also food trucks that you can use your swipes on. You can exchange your swipes for like tickets to buy things there. And so I used to like, truly food is just like not an issue at all. It's like honestly such a blessing, especially since I visited some of my other friends at their colleges. And yeah, just yeah, if food is important to you, really consider us. Yeah.
To know, good to know.
Mhm.
And are you currently a part of any clubs or organizations? And why'd you join if you are?
Okay, yeah, I am. And I would say I split them into like two different categories. One is like stuff that I just wanted to join because I enjoy them, like for my hobbies, interests. And then the other is like the stuff that I think will help me develop some like resources and also like opportunities for my, pre-law career. So on the career side, I'm in pre-law society and I'm in legal society. It's called legal, but it's for women. So legal, that's kind of funny. Anyway, so those two, like I just go to like the events that they host, and basically a lot of them are like networking events or like meeting people who are already successful in that path, and or it's like advice for like aspiring people. And so I just like go to those and try to like absorb as much as I can. But I don't think I'll be as involved in them until like my third or fourth year, where I actually am like one of those people that can contribute. Right now, I'm just like trying to absorb and learn as much as I can. On the other side, for my like hobbies and interests, I'm in a club called Slam, which is like a music club, and you get to both teach and learn instruments and music. So I'm currently a vocal slash beginner's piano teacher. And I'm also learning guitar from someone in that club. So it's really cool because it goes both ways. I'm also on the climbing team. I'm not good at climbing, but you don't have to be good at your hobbies. And also, thank goodness, our climbing team, like there's no like, you know, requirement for you to be on it. So I just do it for fun. And then I'm on a volunteering club. It's called AATP, Asian American Tutorial Project. And basically every Friday we volunteer at Chinatown at one of their after schools, and you just spend time with the kids. You get to know them, you help them with their activities, and it just is very heartwarming. And I've always had a passion for like working with kids, and yeah, that's what I did throughout high school as well. So I wanted to continue doing that in college. So yeah, those are the things that I'm part of right now.
Yeah. And are there any opportunities to like get either work experiences or internships at UCLA? And if so, what are they? How hard is it for you to get them and stuff like that?
Oh, good question. I think that so many of my peers are already like working slash interning, especially people who are pre-med. Like so many of my friends are already working in labs just because you can get plugged into labs pretty easily, or not easily, don't get me wrong, but it's like there's a lot of opportunities that like they make it clear that you can apply for. So a lot of them, like even if you don't get in, there's a lot of opportunities to apply. And then there's some of my friends who are in business too. They have already like gotten into consulting clubs where they actually work with real clients, and that's really cool. And for me, I haven't heard back from my internships in the summer, but there's also like opportunities that you can apply for, such as like the court. You can work as like a clerk or a shadow for one of the judges, or yeah, so that's pretty cool for me. And then there's tons of like art people, music, dance people who are already like working in the industry. Like I have a friend um who danced in Rihanna's, like stadium thing. That was really cool.
Halftime show.
Yeah, the halftime show. Thanks, dear.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like it's like tons of opportunities in LA, especially the industry opportunities since we're in LA. So
Yeah.
there's lots to look out for.
That's good to know.
Mhm.
A very big fan of Rihanna.
Yeah.
And if you had to change one thing about your school, what would it be?
If I had to change one thing, hmm, um, see, I don't know. Like, I think I everything about this school, even the parts that I think sometimes are negative, um, it's like there for a reason. Like I was literally about to say, oh, I wish it wasn't so hilly. But then I realized that if it wasn't so hilly, I'd probably um like I'd probably never get enough exercise anyway. So that's the one thing that most people want to change about it, I would say, though, is like the hilliness. But it's not that scary. It's pretty easy to get used to, and I think it's a good way to keep ourselves accountable, because that means we're going to get our exercise anyway if we go to class. Yeah.
That's good.
Mhm.
And then what do you plan on doing after graduating?
Well, since I'm pre-law, I do plan on applying to law schools, which, yeah, well, I guess I'm looking forward to, but it's pretty much like the undergrad application process. So I know it's going to be another round of writing essays, taking the LSAT, and um, just waiting on those. So yeah, I'm just taking my time, and that's my plan for now.
Oh, that's good. And if you could go back in time and give your high school self any words of advice, what would they be?
Um, I think, well, obviously anything that I would say to her now is much easier coming from me than it was to experience back then. Like, even if I think about it, like, I think the advice that I would give to my high school self is advice that I heard as a high schooler, but it just never feels as real as when you actually experience it. Like, for example, I was going to say, like, I was going to be like, oh, don't be so stressed out, or like, or like, literally just focus on like focus on developing skills outside of academics, focus on um like doing the things that you actually want, that fulfill you, because those are the real things that I think carry on into college. But back then, and as I'm sure like many of the kids now, not kids, they're just a year or two younger than me, but like um a lot of the high schoolers now, I feel like are pretty inconsolable, because for everyone, like the goal is just to get into that college, and then if like they do anything, and I think back then I would still do anything. um so yeah, I would try to comfort myself, but even then I know it probably wouldn't be so comforting. um all in all, though, I would say that all the experiences that like you have in high school, and in all the like struggling that you do, it really does contribute to who you are. And like I think most of all, just knowing that it will be okay, you know, like no matter what, like if you're struggling and stuff like that, and even if you don't believe it, just like the truth is that it'll all be okay. So yeah, I guess I would just say that to her. Yeah.
And back to high school, do you
Mhm.
still keep in touch with any of the friends you've made or that go to different universities than you?
I actually do. I contact them like over text or call at least weekly. I would say, let me count how many that I still keep in contact with. Um, I would say like around 7 of them across the country. Um, like I have 2 friends who go to U Chicago. I have one friend who's back home. I have one friend in Santa Barbara. One friend at 2 friends at Johns Hopkins. Um, And I would say I contact them pretty regularly. It's definitely much harder to be involved in each other's lives when we're not like living it together. But I think just like having little moments of contact and just knowing that you'll always be there for each other, that's really comforting. And I think specifically for me, it's because I'm really lucky to have met so many good people in high school that like I feel like it's worthwhile to continue keeping in contact with them. But a lot of people just want to start fresh in college, which that is totally fine too.
Okay, yeah, perfect. And that is the end of our Q&A session. And quickly before we end, we are looking for people to join our team and earning volunteer hours. So you can learn how to join our team through our website and under our Join Us page. And I want to thank all of you guys for coming out and supporting us. And I would want to give a special thanks to Kristin, our wonderful speaker, and giving us so much information about UCLA and overall. And thank you guys and have a great rest of the day.
Thank you.